What's up, everybody? I'm John.
I'm Isaac.
And on today's episode of Cars and Cameras, we are working on our mystery yard cart that one of our subscribers dropped off at Ike's Garage. In the last episode, we put it together and got it running and did a hot lap around our Grand Prix leaderboard, and it landed in 19th place out of 21 total entrants. The only things that were slower was my Kubota tractor and your barn find Z50 that had been sitting in a field for 20 years. So in today's episode, we know this thing can do better. So we're going to be throwing some upgrades at it, trying to get it into the top 5.
It's impossible, dude.
It's possible, I'm telling you. We've been arguing for like 30 minutes about this.
You got NOTs?
No. I think it's possible. So we have a 5-horse overhead cam Honda. We're going to be installing a Mikuni carburetor. We're going to be installing a live axle kit with some more ideal gearing for this track, with the hope of getting it into at least 5th place on our leaderboard.
Top 10.
Top 10 easy, but we need a challenge.
I believe that the best performance gain we're going to get out of this is installing a live axle kit. Because, heck, this 5-horsepower engine can't even push this thing through the yard without trenching all over the place. So we need to get that power to the ground, and the only way we're going to do that is with a live axle kit.
Basically, we're going to start just by chopping a whole lot of this mess off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so each end of the wheel is going to go bye-bye. Exactly. It might be a little bit intimidating if you've never done anything like this before, but, I mean...
It's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad.
Once you do a couple... It's a breeze.
Yeah.
Another thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make a place for the sprocket. We're going to have to cut out right here, and we're going to have to bring in some square tubing from here to strengthen up this engine plate, because once we start removing that metal, it's going to make it a little on the weak side.
Yeah.
So, but easy breezy, baby.
Yeah, and we're going to eliminate our jack shaft here, too, because that's just kind of...
Yeah, I believe that this belt system is probably we're losing a little bit of horsepower there.
Definitely, yeah.
So
we're just going straight chain.
Straight chain, and I think we're going to be good to go on that.
All right, let's get to chopping. Now that the original axle assembly has been cut out of our yard cart, it is time to start installing our live axle kit. Today's episode is sponsored by GoPowersports.com, and they hooked us up with one of their live axle kits, Mikuni 22mm carburetor, and all the other parts that are going to turn this yard cart into a performer. So here's an overview of their live axle kit. It is highly customizable on their website. It comes with a 1-inch live axle here with keyways machined in it. You can get it in a whole bunch of different lengths. These are the standard wheels it comes with, and this is what we're going to be using today. But if you want, you can upgrade to these cleatier tires or an even 8-inch wheel if you so choose. The standard kit comes with a 2-hole bearing hanger. This one was upgraded to a 3-hole. We also upgraded to disc brakes and a aluminum sprocket hub and a split sprocket. So like I said, it is very highly customizable. You can check it out for yourself. It'll link in the description of this video. And anytime you place an order with Go Power Sports, let them know that Cars and Cameras sent you. So first thing we need to do is figure out where we need to weld our hangers on, and then it's all really easy from there.
Looking good, bud.
Thanks, dude. So we have each side tacked in 2 places. We just need to make sure they're completely straight up and down, and then we can weld them all the way.
Man, that thing's got the rake of a 70 GTO.
It is a little elevated, isn't it?
Back in 1979.
When it was popular.
Yeah.
Looks good.
So after sitting back and looking at it and making, man noises, Ike use hammer, stuff like that. John use welder.
Yeah.
We're kind of looking at it and we're like, you know what? It's just hiked up in the back a little bit too tall, which makes it a little bit more unstable, kind of like the clip of the first drive.
Dude, are you good? Are you good, man?
Right out the gate!
Yeah, exactly.
Where I flipped it. So I guess we need to go a little bit lower. So we're gonna have to cut the hangers off. It's a good thing we only tack welded them in there.
Yep.
And
lower it maybe
down.
an inch or something like that.
At least an inch. It might be more than that, dude. Really. So, yeah, I thought it was cool, jacked up like that, but you know, for safety, I guess we need to go down with it some.
Yeah.
All right, back to the drawing board.
Our live axle hangers are all welded on. They look good. And we've locked it down on both sides with these locking collars that use Allen wrench right there. And Ike is working on centering the sprocket. We have our clutch installed. Pretty sweet. It's got its engagement speed engraved on the clutch. And I'm working on the brake. So Ike is all finished up with the sprocket and clutch. So I'm going to go ahead and weld our bracket that holds our brake caliper on. So depending on the layout of your go-kart, it's going to vary. But for us, the easiest way to do this is to put it on the driver's side, because the brake pedal is right there also on the driver's side. It's going to be really easy to, or easier to run a piece of solid linkage or something to connect the two. So I'm going to hold this brake right about here, and Ike had a great idea. Clamp it down before you weld it so you know that it's straight. So engage the brake before you weld it so you know that it's not cockeyed or anything on there. Another thing, you want to be sure that your pad is just covering the outer edge of your brake disc for the most amount of brake bite. Is that the best way to put that?
I like the way you put it, man.
Cool. So I am going to hold my tongue right, get this where I like it, and give it a tap. Cover. And the way this works with the bracket is that you can actually pull the caliper out of the bracket with the rotor, which is kind of cool. So I have it tacked. I need to figure out some kind of brace from down at the bottom up to the frame. Then I need to run some linkage. Oh yeah. So what do you think? Piece of flat bar? Or just like a big old triangle, a big gusset? Do we have a big gusset?
I think we're gonna need more than just a big gusset, dude.
So I have my support piece mocked up. And I go ahead and weld it in. So we have a heavy-duty cable set up to work with this mechanical brake, and honestly it's a lifesaver, because every time in the past when we've done a mechanical disc brake like this, we've had to use hard linkage, and it's just such a pain to set up. But this is great. So much easier. I'll link it in the description down below. But yep, much easier to set up. So Ike is just gonna weld in our stops.
Cover.
Yeah, man. And we cut out 2 pieces of steel to act as tabs that we're going to weld onto the frame that are going to hold our cable housing in place. And Ike's just using the old screwdriver method to clean some metal so we can weld. We are all finished up with the live axle swap on this yard cart. We also spaced out the front wheels just a little bit so we can get a little bit better turning radius. So it's a little bit wet out on our Grand Prix to set a lap time right now, but Ike is gonna hop on it and just kind of see how it runs. We did put a smaller sprocket on it, so it's gonna be slower out of the hole, but you're gonna drive this go-kart like you would a Miata around a racetrack. It doesn't accelerate well, but hopefully it can hang in the corners and keep momentum. That's the only way this thing is gonna be fast.
In the corners, huh?
Yeah.
Remember when I flipped it?
So the sprocket we installed is simply too small. The engine doesn't make enough power to turn a sprocket that small. Our top speed theoretically is probably 60 miles an hour, but the engine just doesn't have the oomph to get it there. It's way too tall to try to set a good lap time out here. Looks like we're swapping the sprocket. I bet he's getting up to a good speed though, coming back. Dang, does have awesome top speed, but just too tall.
Need to adjust the brakes already?
No, someone didn't tighten up the screw on the back. The bolt's gone.
We are swapping out the 50 tooth for a 58 tooth sprocket, and of course this is 420 chain, so the numbers are completely different for 35. A little bit of consumer advice out there: if you have a 5-horse engine or even a 6.5 or even a 10-horse engine, a 50 tooth sprocket with a 14-inch tall rear tire is a little bit too tall, as you just found out. Ike rode by at 30 miles an hour at about 3,000 RPM. Yeah, so just too darn tall. So we're hoping that this change in sprocket will help it get off the line a little bit better.
And that's with the 5 horsepower engine. It might be a different story with more horsepower.
If you had a V-twin,
and
turn
a
it, no
torque
problem.
Torque converter would probably
make a heck
help
of a
out a
difference.
lot.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd recommend that if you have like a V-twin and you want to go like 110 miles an hour. That's about it. It also depends on your rear tire size, so keep that in mind too. If you have a smaller rear tire, you're gonna want a smaller sprocket. Like that 50 tooth would probably work okay if you had a 10-inch tall tire, for example.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm shaking in my boots a little bit.
Why's that?
Worried. I put a lot of faith in this little Honda 5-horse, and it might just let me down.
All right, this gear is still a little bit tall, but I'm hoping it'll be a nice, high speed, still be able to accelerate. Only one way to find out. Let's crank this thing up.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a lot better. I'm gonna go check out the top speed.
Sounds good.
I'll be right back.
So the shorter gearing has definitely helped a lot. It is still a momentum machine though, so I think we're gonna give it a shot, a Grand Prix lap to get it before time, and then we're gonna swap a Mikuni carburetor onto it. We think it's gonna make, knock on wood, a lot more power with it, and then run another lap to see if we can reach our top 5.
I gotta say, man, I'm liking the look. Here,
It is wet out there.
Let me give you a hand, man.
Yeah, thanks. We've given the racetrack as much time as we possibly can to dry out, and there's still just standing water anyway. So I'm gonna run it anyway.
Be careful, bud.
The standing water is gonna make it a lot slower. So rather than a top 5, I think we are gonna be lucky.
Top 20?
It already is top 20. It's number 19. So we're gonna be lucky to get a top 10. So I'm gonna go out, do a lap, no warm-ups, because it's so slow, and then we're gonna swap a Mikuni 22 onto it and just hope that we get top 10 somehow.
All right, choke is on. Here we go. That 4 clutch. 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 4 clu carburetor doesn't want to idle. It was doing fine the other day. And the choke doesn't like running like completely off choke. All right, I see him on Peyton's path, not Peyton's Pass, I'm sorry. Pathfinder Pass.
Come on, Kart! Come on! Wow, it's so muddy. Ah, it's like hitting the brakes. Ah! Oh! Oh boy!
10. Oh man, yes! I don't think that's too bad. I don't think that's too bad at all. You're not as muddy as I thought you'd be.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's slower than it probably was before.
What was the time before?
1:19.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it was slower?
Yeah.
You want me to tell you your time, sir?
Yeah.
A 1,
Yeah.
15,
Okay.
72.
All right, so we improved 4 seconds.
Yes. And it's way wetter now.
Going through the woods is like slamming on the brakes.
Yeah, I heard it. How was that the hill at the Pathfinder Point?
Going down
Yeah.
the hill? Scary.
What happened when you hit that mud?
It was like hitting the brakes.
Like hitting the brakes?
Yeah.
Any sliding, anything fun?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty fun. It's like,
Pretty fun?
you know those roller coasters that go through like the pool of water?
Yeah.
Look just like that.
All right. Well, awesome.
So,
We got to go get the cameras.
yeah, our gear is still too tall, but let's just throw a Mikuni on it and hope that it makes more power at high RPM.
And handle the gear.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
22mm carburetor, Mikuni. I know we were asking way too much of this carburetor to try to knock off another 5 seconds, but we're gonna try it.
Yeah.
We shot ourselves in the foot. Our gearing is still too tall, but we dropped 4 seconds already, and that's just in traction alone. Now this thing can stop and go with 2-wheel drive rather than 1. But you know, once you're muddy, dude, it's actually pretty fun.
Oh yeah? Well,
Yeah.
good.
You know what? This intake manifold will bolt up if we just kind of oversize the holes just a little bit.
Okay, let's oversize the holes a little bit.
Yeah.
Woo. All right, buddy, are you ready for this
Yeah, I'm ready.
round, is this
Yeah.
round 3?
This is just round 2.
This is going to be round 2. No, this is going to be round 3. Well, I say because we did
Lap 3?
This will be third lap.
Yeah, in total.
We did it 1 wheel peel, and then once with the stock carburetor on it, but with the live axle, and now the live axle and Mikuni swap.
Yes. We finished up the 22mm Mikuni swap, and we also realized that the rear brakes were sticking just a little bit, so it ought to be a rocket ship now. At least I hope so. So we're shooting for that 109 to get us into the top 10.
All right, so you're ready.
Yep.
On your mark, get set, go!
Oh, it's fast now. Holy cow. So much quicker. Yeah, buddy. Come on.
I think it's going to be okay, guys. I'm going to say John says 109. I'm going to go 110.
Come on, baby. I believe you got that 109 in you. Oh, I don't think that counts as a crash. That might count as a crash. Dang, me and that tree.
Ah, he's going to have to do this one again. Oh, he was doing so good, too. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, you are doing so good too.
What was the time?
123.
All right.
Alright, so I'm taking it you're going for another try.
Oh man, I have to.
Alright.
I have to.
Alright. Come on forward a little bit.
More responsive, that's for sure.
Yeah. You're good.
Oh yeah.
On your mark. Get set. Go.
It's a rough lap.
Oh, he slowed way down. It's spitting and sputtering. Come on, buddy. Dang it. 7, 8, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116. Something's not running right, guys. I think the air filter might have water in it.
That's what I was gonna say. The brakes also disappeared.
Hit the brakes. Okay, I mean, I suppose we could adjust them.
Also, they don't come back anymore.
Are you alright, buddy?
Yeah. Man. What was the time?
Well, you were faster than the last one. You were not faster than what we were trying to beat. You were 121.
Oh.
Yeah. Dude, the first time when you hit the tree, dude, you were coming in hot, and I think you were under a minute.
Really?
At that time.
point? Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's a chance.
definite.
It's just too wet. All right, so I got a shower in, and I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed. We made all kinds of modifications to our little yard cart in today's episode. We swapped over to a live axle, we put a disc brake on it, we put a Mikuni carburetor on it, we spaced out the front wheels for more stability, but Mother Nature is what kind of got in our way of glory today, and me crashing into the tree. It's just so wet back there. So we are gonna have to wait for another day to run this and hopefully get a cleaner lap out of it, because whenever you go through the woods back there, it's like hitting the brakes, and just all the water also clogged up our air filter as well. So there's no telling when that will be. But like Ike mentioned on my earlier lap, I had entered the woods under 1 minute, and typically on a machine like that, we'd see around a 1 minute 10-second lap, which would put this right in striking distance of 10th place. So tentative victory on this, but I'm not going to call it until we get that good clean lap that you will see in a future episode of Cars and Cameras. So thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the episode today. Subscribe to Cars and Cameras if you want to see us bring this thing back and get that good clean lap, because I swear, it's got a top 10, maybe even a top 5 in it. The gear change certainly helped. The top speed was very decent on this go-kart. It's just all the mud, traction was a huge problem, and it clogged up the air filter. If you like what we're doing here and you want to support us in our future projects, go to our website, cars-cameras.com, and pick up one of our hats, one of our shirts, one of our hoodies. It's all good, high-quality stuff, and it ships very fast. We have to thank our sponsor, GoPowerSports.com, for the live axle kit, the spun aluminum fuel tank, the Mikuni carburetor, all the goodies that we installed in this go-kart. So anytime you want to place an order with them, let them know that Cars and Cameras sent you. Of course, Facebook and Instagram at Cars and Cameras Reviews for sneak peeks on what we are up to, and Isaac at Isaac It'll Be Fine on YouTube and Instagram. So thanks again for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time. The yard cart will be back.
You piece of trash. Oh, it'd be hilarious if I tied this like a bow tie.
Oh, that's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna seal pretty great.
I gotta get to the back. Alright. There's your tie. There's your bow tie.